really I don't feel like I grew up with that mindset. It's something someone said to me on a travels, and it was actually a friend who I met in Mexico, and
Yeah.
she lived in Canada at the time. She's from New Zealand, but she was like the average person, makes 7 or 8 I don't remember what the number was, but it was over five, like career pivots in their life. And that's just like something that had never occurred to me. I think a lot of people
Yeah.
in the US kind of pick one thing and stick with it. And why can't you change? If you don't like something, you should change
True.
it. So, I'm Sonya. I'm excited to be talking to you today. Um, I have been enjoying traveling since I was a teenager. I was fortunate enough to go on a trip during like a school break,
Yeah.
with two teachers who led it, and I think there were about 15 to 20 of us students, and we went to Scotland, England, and France for like 12 days or so. Um, and I was really excited to go. My parents had never been to Europe, and they made me save up a little bit of money for it, but they paid for it because they knew how like excited I was about it. And two girls that were in my grade were going too, who I kind of knew, but we like became pretty close on that trip. And one of them
Yeah.
I'm still friends with today, even though we live on opposite sides of North America. Um, and that kind of was like a big, that made me really fall in love with traveling. And I've been fortunate enough to like save my money up over the years and was
Yeah.
always trying to get into travel. And finally, about 5 years ago, I went back to school and got a master's degree in tourism management,
Wow.
a couple years after, and worked for a tour operator for 2.5, almost 3 years, and then worked for a destination management org for a little bit. And it definitely feels like where I'm supposed to be. I started my own company around September, small but mighty, and I help brands outside of the US and Canada grow in those markets. And I'm also
Amazing.
running a course early in the year in 2026 to get operators who are not quite into these markets, like emerging operators, getting them market ready for US and Canada. So
Wow, that's
it's like
amazing.
I like helping people grow and like learn how to educate them on
Yes.
how to like work in these markets and about the consumer. My first trip abroad on my own was to Iceland because I thought it'll be safe. A lot of people speak English.
Yeah.
Um, I ran a marathon there and I spent a week there, and I wasn't afraid. My biggest fear was not having enough money because Iceland's so expensive.
And
So,
how was the experience?
oh my gosh, amazing. I loved it. It was so fun to just like my friend who has kids always says this. She's like, it's so nice when you can just travel and only have to worry about yourself and your own belongings. And there is something really
Yeah,
luxurious about that. Just you can do what
there
you want,
is.
get up when you want, go to bed when you want, see what you want. No one's like complaining. Not that I love traveling with my friends as well, and I'd love to travel with a partner, but it
Yes,
is
but
nice to
it's
travel on your own.
different. It's just,
It
yes,
is.
I
Yeah.
agree. It's just a
Mhm.
different experience. Like you prepare emotionally also differently because it's just
We
it's all the
do.
responsibility is on you. So it has like its highs and lows, like every experience, but it has something like deeply connects you, I think, with experience itself, with the country or the place and the
Uh-huh.
people, because it's just you. I've had
It's
this
just you, yeah. Yeah,
experience. Yeah.
you're almost forced to interact with people more in the destination because you don't have like a built-in companion with you where you could just talk to one another. So, if you eat at a restaurant or sit at a
Yeah.
bar by yourself, because I like to sit at a bar when available, even though I don't drink that much, or even if I'm not drinking, because then I can like talk to the people next to me, talk to the person working,
Oh,
not, within reason. I don't want to bother them. But
true.
but you can also be unbothered. You can sit there and read a book or whatever, it's just you can interact more with locals when you're by yourself, it feels.
true. I feel the same. You shared the other day with me that you moved to Canada like some
Hmm.
years ago, right? But you're still navigating some paperwork and those kinds of things.
Hmm.
And I'm just, there are a lot of people who dream of moving abroad and exploring new places as maybe to call home. And a lot of people actually would love to move to Canada. So I was thinking that you could maybe share a bit about the process, like not
Yeah.
only paperwork, but also the inside work, because moves a lot inside of us, right? So how
Hmm.
was
Hmm.
this whole experience for you? And if you have maybe one or two uh, pieces of advice for the people who wants to follow this
Yeah.
same journey.
And I mean, to add an extra fun element to it, I moved like at the beginning of the pandemic too. I think I was
Wow. Okay.
on the last flight out of the US to Canada. It was like basically a repatriation flight for people who'd been in the US or other places and they were trying to get back to Canada before the like borders closed.
Yeah.
So it was kind of scary because when I moved here and it was the pandemic, I wasn't even sure if they're going to let me in because I had an approval because I was starting a graduate program.
Yeah.
So I had approval to enter, and I just needed them to give me like an official study permit once I crossed the border. And the man even said to me, like, oh, you're lucky you had this approval because we're not just like letting anyone in right now. And that's not normal. It was because it was pandemic times. But I was just full of excitement about moving someplace new after being somewhere for 16 years, starting a school program, like learning all about a place that I was moving to because I was excited to be out here
Yeah.
by the ocean, to move somewhere smaller, to be closer to like hiking and nature. And one thing a
Nice.
bunch of people said to me when I first moved here and started making friends, which took a little longer than normal because it was the pandemic. They're like, it's very brave to move somewhere you don't know anyone and where it's not your
It
own
is.
country. I'd never thought about it that way. And I was like, yeah, I guess it is. But that just like, I just kind of do things when I get an idea. Like if I get an idea in my head and I can't stop thinking about it, I'm going to do it. Whether it's going
Yeah.
somewhere on a trip or like creating something, it might not
Yeah.
happen right away, but it's going to happen. If it keeps bugging you, then it needs to happen? Um,
Yes.
so I would say, I guess bravery is one of them. Like you can't be afraid to do these things.
True.
You have to pare down your stuff a lot because it's expensive to move things. There's another tip for you.
Mm.
I'd lived in the same place for like 16 years, so I didn't have a lot of stuff like a hoarder, but
Yeah.
when you've moved around and you have an apartment, you have furniture, I still
Yeah.
have some stuff at a friend's house that I need to go through, and I told her, I was like, I will bring this to Canada once I become a permanent resident. So, like, I'm not doing it before then. I'm not going to bring extra stuff, but that day will come soon. I know it. Um, and yeah, I'm still sorting out some paperwork. I'm learning
Yeah.
French, to
Oh,
make my
yes. Too.
situation like more appealing, which I've taken French classes before, but now I'm revisiting it, and getting better. And I speak a little Spanish too, but I'm kind of sad to have, well, I shouldn't say I speak a little Spanish. I speak Spanish fairly well. But
Really?
yeah, I
I
never
didn't know
want to,
that.
yeah, no, I am quite nervous when I have to speak to people who I've like met. If I'm in a situation where I'm forced
Yeah.
to use it, that's when I'm most confident because I'm like, well.
Yeah.
So yeah, being brave, paring down your belongings. I came here without a lawyer, but now I have one for my
Really
situation.
getting a
So
lawyer. Hmm.
never be afraid to ask for help. And also, it's expensive. Those are my tips. Like, be bold, save up your money, hire help before it's too late.
Okay.
There are
Yeah.
good people
Makes
who
sense.
can help you. So, yeah, and then just really enjoy where you've chosen to live for every day because
Oh, I agree.
the
Yeah.
uncertainty of your situation until you become a permanent resident or a citizen, like, don't take it for granted.
Yes. True. And from all this experience, what has been maybe the most challenging part? What would you say? Like from everything, if you need to name
Yeah.
one, what would it be?
Yeah. The uncertainty for me, because I've gone from I applied for a study permit and that was issued so quickly, like over a
Yeah.
weekend. And um, when I finished school, I had to get a work permit, and that's something you wait for, and looking for a job. And then when it came time to renew my work permit over the summer, I realized I needed a sponsor. And so there was just waiting for decisions on my status and taking the French test in like 3 weeks, or 4 weeks.
That's
But
exciting.
yeah, it's exciting. I think in 4 weeks I can make some good progress toward my goals. But the uncertainty is hard. I'm a person who likes to schedule things. I like
Uncertain.
to know what's
Yeah.
going to happen, and it's in someone's hands. And I always tell myself, like, stop worrying about things I can't control. But also, it has worked out so far. Why would it not continue that way? You know?
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And one part that you say that has been the most fun part, so we don't scare people.
Yeah, no. I love where I live. It's fun to know a new culture, even if it's not. Canada and the
Yeah.
US are not the same, but there's also some similarities. There's a few
Mhm.
similarities, but it's been a slightly different pace of life. It's been fun to learn new holidays, like of course there's Christmas is the same, Easter, but like
Yeah.
having Canada Day, having different long weekends, having a different Thanksgiving, having Boxing Day. It's because I go to
Yeah.
I haven't always gone to the US for their Thanksgiving, which is next week, but the years when I get to, it's really fun. So but here there's no holiday between Halloween and so
Yeah.
yeah, it's just been fun to have different, like for the rest of my life, as long as I'm here, I'm gonna do all of both, like I'm gonna have the 4th of July and Canada Day and both Thanksgivings and Christmas.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I
yeah,
love that. I didn't
yeah,
think about that. Yeah, that's
yeah.
fun. Yes. Let's talk about following dreams, following your
Yeah.
guts, doing things that ignite us. How do we face, these changes that sometimes, I don't know, I've been doing this for a long time, but now I feel like I want to do something else. How do you
Mhm.
dare to follow those dreams? What sparked that?
I worked in nonprofits for 15 years before going back to school. Yeah, 15 years. And it wasn't my calling, shall we say. It was a good living. It was um, very routine. Like every year you did things at the same time. You had due season, you had
Yeah.
meetings per year with the organization I work for, because I work for the same organization for 8 years or 8.5 years. And
Okay.
that's a long time to get to know something. And before that, I was in two other
Yeah.
nonprofits for like 3 years and 2 years. Um,
Nice.
but it was just kind of like boring me. You know, I don't want to say
Yeah.
too
What
much.
you were not feeling it
I'm not,
anymore,
yeah,
at
it
least.
wasn't my
Yeah.
calling. Like I said, there were
Yeah.
pieces of it that really lit me up. Like I love planning events. I loved going to
Yeah.
those events and seeing the fruition. But the day to day of like doing campaigns for dues, not thrilling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Changes around them, the way we would bring them from like all mail to online and subscription was exciting to me because it was less manual work and just less cost. So there were elements of it that changed, but I always wanted to do something in tourism and I would always apply for those jobs and not get them. So I finally learned
Yeah.
you could get masters and I learned looked up degrees and education on it and then just was like I'm gonna go back to school. I want to do what I really want to do and
Yeah.
want to do it now. Like, there's no limit on when you can change careers. And
True.
um, no, that's not really I don't feel like I grew up with that mindset. It's something someone said to me on a travels, and it was actually a friend who I met in Mexico, and
Yeah.
she lived in Canada at the time. She's from New Zealand, but she was like the average person. make 7 or 8 I don't remember what the number was, but it was over 5, like career pivots in their life. And that's just like something that had never occurred to me. I think a lot of people
Yeah,
in the US kind of pick one thing and stick with it. And why can't you change? If you don't like something, you should change
true.
it. So I went back to school and I was lucky to get a job like within weeks of my program finishing. Like my program was finishing and I already had a job. Sorry, there's a bug.
Wow.
Uh,
It's amazing.
so, and it was exciting because it was with a tour operator and
Yeah.
there's like a bug buzzing around me. Sorry. Um,
Sometimes it happens.
yeah. And then when it was time to move on earlier this year, I started looking around and I wanted to look for I still don't know where I'll finally land in tourism, but I like promoting destinations and I like working with destinations that want to promote themselves and grow or companies that want to grow.
Mhm.
And I kind of feel like that is my niche. Who knows if it will stay that way, but I like the events, I like itineraries. I know what I'm good at, and I kind of feel like that's what I go on now when I look for a role is like, can I curate a great experience for someone? Can I help others do that for
Uh,
people?
so
I teach
important.
yoga
Yes.
virtually too, and I always want my yoga class to be a good experience. So that kind of drives what I do is like creating great experiences for people.
I love that. Yes. Traveling, especially when you're just starting,
Hmm.
is something that you you want to invite the other person to feel or to live it with all their senses and to
Hmm.
have, like have something that they will keep, not just like, oh, I just, I took a plane and went to that place, but something that really an experience that could potentially be life changing, but if not, at least a memory that you will hold.
Yeah, yeah. You want to have good memories of it. If they're unforgettable or transformative, then that's like bonus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And about by way of travel collective,
Mhm.
how how do you like people reach out to you, tour operators? What can they expect after they contact you? What happens after that?
Which I don't know if most people know that. When I worked in for a destination management org, we had so much media come in and we pay for everything that they do in the destination for the most part so that they can experience it and then go back and write about it. And
Mhm.
um, whether they like it or not, they usually give an honest review, or if they don't write about it, then it was probably like not the standout activity for them, but they write about what they really love. So you pack their schedules full of things. So for by way of what I'm trying to do is connect operators with advisors and clients here. I use my own personal network and people who I know love travel to connect them with these trips. And I'm holding webinars, connecting with bigger operators who might want to
Yeah.
partner with some of these organizations. Well, usually I would schedule a meeting with them first so we can talk face to face. And they've been about an hour, sometimes a little bit longer. I really want to know their needs, what their demographic is. I want to hear about their trips. I do my own searching beforehand and look at their website, look at their trips, the
Yeah.
process of booking, the costs, where they go. Like I learn as much about
Nice.
them as I can. I read about who started it, what their story is, their core
Yes.
values. They're kind of like their about page of their website. But then when we meet, I really get into like what are you looking for? How are you looking to grow? What are your markets you're looking to grow in? What do you see as your challenges? How do you see us working together? And then I take a bunch of notes. And then once we have that conversation, I kind of write up a proposal for them, usually
Yeah.
about 1 page on how we can work together. And I work with people on a retainer, like a monthly retainer basis, 6-month contracts, and then with certain activities that fall into that retainer. And then I
Yeah.
also offer some project-based work if that is suits them more. Like if you have kind of an already established business that you're just looking for little pieces to fill in the gaps here and there, I
Yeah.
do that project-based work on a 3 to 6 month basis.
Oh, wow.
We revisit it after that 6 months to like change what needs to be changed, hopefully continue working together. But yeah, there's a good bit of discussion and back and forth that happens before we sign. And if I've learned anything in this as compared to previous industries I've been in, that things are a little bit slower. And that's actually fine with me because like when you're committing to a client relationship, I want everyone to be on the same page about
Yes,
what we're
true.
doing. Do we like working together? Do you think you would like working with me? Do I think I would like working with you? Because
True.
the clients I have now, I really love. They have my number, I have theirs. We like send
Yeah.
each other WhatsApp messages.
It's a
If they're like,
different kind of work because it's very personalized, right?
it is
Like,
very personalized. This is their like if they're the co-founders, it is their baby, they're like
mhm.
love. So I want to treat it with just as much care as they do. And
Yeah.
I do have a limit in my head of how many I could take on, like a number, because I want to give
Mhm.
everyone the attention they deserve. So we haven't reached that number yet, but I'm confident I will. Because I
Okay.
also want to be able to do like the market ready course. I want to be able to pay that careful attention and not slack on anyone else.
So it's also it mixes marketing too, or that's
Yes,
different.
it's yeah, marketing and representation and a little bit of consulting. Blech. So like I do answer a lot of questions about setting up shop for my operators of like what is appropriate amount of communications, what is an appropriate amount of access to, cancellation policies, payment timelines, that kind of stuff. Like how can people pay? Because you want to make it easy for people to do these things. So I've done a little bit of consulting about that too, because sometimes there's, some people are like, if it's not super easy to sign up or pay, they're just going to click on go into the next operator. And you have to have a beautiful presentation,
Yes.
but you also need to make it easy because if people
Yes,
can't
to
buy
help
from them,
them set up
yeah.
everything in a way that it works, potential customers or
Hmm.
people who want to live this kind of experiences see them
Yeah.
and just kind of work with them too.
Hmm. Yeah.
I like it. I like the personalization part because I think like it's not to just go, to Google and look for the place, but it, personalize the experience is what makes it meaningful. And you, like me as a traveler, if I want to go to any place, I don't really know what place is like really authentic. If I want to live like an authentic experience, or
Mm.
it's sustainable and those kind of things. I think that's important to contact someone who knows and
Yeah.
who can guide you
Mhm.
and who connect you to those
Mhm.
real experiences. So I love it. I think it's going to be very very successful, and you're going to be able to help a lot of people to live this kind of experiences with a lot of consciousness when
I
they
hope so.
travel.
I think that I think group travel in the past maybe has turned some people away. I think that is changing though, because when you have locals showing you, it's so much more, it's more authentic. You're
It
supporting
is.
small businesses, you're supporting the community, and you're learning about things that you wouldn't necessarily learn about then if you just like
Exactly.
went somewhere on your own and like went out on your own, having a local
Exactly.
guide makes a huge difference. And I just also love when you like pay for something and it's all taken care of. You don't have to
Yes.
do anything else. Someone tells you what you're doing each day, gives you options, but you find what aligns with your interests and everything too. So,
Love it. Love it. So, where is Sonia focused today?
oh my. Sonya is all over the place today, but um
We can relate to
yeah,
that. Yeah.
there's a board
And it's November already, so yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Sonya is focused on getting things done for the week that she's taking a holiday. My computer's coming with me on my trip, so I'm not
Of
concerned about
course,
not getting
that's
it all done.
that's part of being a digital nomad,
It is.
having a business remotely, taking your laptop
Yeah.
everywhere
Doesn't mean
with
it's going to
you.
come out every day, but it's definitely coming with me.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Before we go, if you could go back and give day one, I want to say nomad or
Hmm.
traveler Sonia a piece of advice, what would it be?
Mm. Um, I think it would be, oh my gosh, that's really hard. Maybe, and I think this could apply to nomad and traveler, is just slow down a little more and appreciate where you are.
Yeah.
Because a trip can go by so fast, time can pass so quickly, and I'm not the kind of person that says no to returning to places. Like, I never go somewhere and think this is my only shot to come here. I'm never coming back. Like, check. Um, but it's going to be different every time you come back. So
Yeah.
enjoy what it is. Like, enjoy the season, enjoy the month you're there, whatever holiday or traditions are happening, and just enjoy like the place as it is while you're there.
I actually love that advice so much. Like being
Yeah,
present because we're always thinking about
yeah,
what's next, but then
exactly.
we're missing what is happening, right?
Being present is really important. And I mean, I've carried that with me in my situation here because like I'm sure everything's going to be fine, but and I get to sort it all out here. But if not, it's like enjoy every day. Get out of the house, go for a walk. Enjoy that it like rains every day in November because you might end up somewhere one day where it's super dry and
Yeah.
every type of year and day has something special. And we
Love
need
that.
to
Love that.
remind ourselves of that.
I love that advice. Okay, Sonia, I'm going to be sharing your links in the comments so people can connect with you and ask you all questions related to the business. And also, I want to tell everyone that you are now part of the Traveling My Way at Top Advisors program, so people can just connect with you and schedule a one-on-one call to talk about travel, moving abroad, especially to Canada, starting a marketing focus on responsible tourism, and I don't know, just talk about different topics with you in a cozy
Yeah.
conversation. I'll be sharing that link too. Thank you so much for joining
Thank
me
you. This
in
was
this
fun. It was
call.
great to see you again, too.